This is Covered Credits.
So we had talked about we had talked about doing some different stories and things like that, and like
Mainly we were bored and we decided to put random shit in video.
yeah. So we're gonna kind of cover some news stories that what we're thinking about doing is maybe doing this every week, maybe not. Covering news stories that we find throughout the week that are interesting to us. We've got 3 of them today. Two tech stories, 1 media story, and just kind of discussing that a little bit. So we're going to start with Kevin and just kind of go through from there.
No, I find some interesting stuff. Read a couple of articles. I don't know. Like I said, I am a hardcore internet junkie, and I see interesting things and click on them. But no, there's been a lot of advancements in medical that I've found interesting, being the sort of sci-fi guy that I am. The FDA has approved putting in the procedure to put in cybernetic eyes in the United States.
Which sounds fake, but is already happened.
The first one was done. A dude from Texas has lost his eyes due to an infection.
Eye, isn't it single?
Both of no, yeah, I think
it was single. I think it was single. Right?
Or
he might have lost them both, but they only put 1 cybernetic.
There's like 5 doctors in the country who are allowed to do the procedure, and one dude from Louisiana, like I said, put in a robot eye.
Now we looked a little bit into the. I looked a little bit. I didn't look that far. Now, so is it that they are wiring something to brain then from the eye? I assume.
Yeah, it's like the what they do for the ears.
Yeah,
they put in basically microphones and they hook it up to your noggin.
Yeah. Well, for the eye, it would be a microphone. Yeah, but I understand.
Yeah, no, that's like I said, that's interesting. Second interesting story to add on to that was that Google has patented a technology where they would inject a lens directly into the human eye, so you'd have Google Glass
inside your eye.
Inside of your eyeball.
It reminds me of Futurama's play on the iPhone, where they're injecting microchips behind your eye, and it projects things out of it.
That's exactly what Google has patented.
Well, I saw part of the patent was for an actual contact lens that might be worn also. So maybe it won't be quite as creepy as them inserting the lens into your eye.
My thing is with that, the whole cybernetic thing to me is interesting in a lot of ways. The problem is you have a technology, and technology changes so rapidly. I mean, if you look 5 years ago to right now, but so how do you upgrade the hardware when you get an OS upgrade in your freaking eyeball? I don't understand. Or like, okay, people have credit card chips surgically inserted in their hands now. Like you put them in your wrist. Like you walk up to the cashier and you go boop. Like those cards you slap. Well, you can do that with your wrist. And like kink. When the card expires, that's my question.
So
you gotta cut out and get a new one put in.
When the hackers shake your hand and take all your money.
Yeah, they freaking what do they do?
The RFID stuff.
The pickpockets now in New York, they'll walk up behind you and slap your wallet.
And that's it.
Read the mag chip in your credit card, and that's it.
Yep.
Dunzo.
That's why
they
now
have to pick your pocket.
They have like stainless steel and RFID blocker wallets you can buy.
They're lead line wallets, so they can't freaking pick up your mag chips.
I would never.
It's madness.
Listen, I really hope they market them as lead line too, so people are like, lead's good for me in the long run.
I should obviously rub it all over my hands and then eat and lick my hands, because that'll be great.
I was like, lick your hands.
Yeah, to get the lead out. All the cool kids are doing it.
Want to get the lead out. Next story. So one of the stories I read about was the. Oh, there's Drew blank on the name. Hyperloop.
Hyperloop.
The Hyperloop. Now, basically, what this is a very infantile stage. They're crowdfunding a mass transit system, and it's in a few different places. What did you say the first one might be? Slovakia, because the government has signed off on that one, correct? What it is a tubular train system, basically, and they've tested some things in the U.S. The hope in the U.S. is to connect L.A. and San Francisco and have 2 tubes running along next to each other and have it to where there'll be a consistent train going either direction constantly. They said there'd be multiple stops on that track, and they said if that gets approved and funded, maybe LA to Vegas would be something else. It's not necessarily yet a thought of like a LA to New York situation. I don't see this being that long of a distance travel. Maybe eventually, but what they've shown is it's a sealed tube with a cylindrical car that is running well, and then like decompressed or like compressed air to where there's not as much air resistance at all inside the tube, and they were saying top speeds of 760 miles an hour, which is insane, but you're going to be covering ground pretty quick. So they said they compared it to the traffic that you're going to get stuck in just getting out of LA. You could get to San Francisco and back before most people probably leave the city. So it's an interesting thought, and there's still crowdfunding.
There's a lot of... See, the problem with infrastructure, and it's so hard to fund stuff like that, because we've had high-speed rail for years. What?
Well,
30 years probably?
We haven't.
At least 30
we
years?
We haven't.
Well, the technology's been there.
I agree.
30, 35 years, 40 years?
Yeah.
And we've never seen it. I mean, Japan, famous for the rail. And,
Europe.
Europe has high-speed rail. Everyone besides the United States has high-speed rail.
Yep.
Because we don't do infrastructure well.
No, that's why now the problem is a lot of the big highways we have are in terrible shape. And the deal
the
is
last person was Eisenhower.
That was the big push, yeah.
And you can tell what it is, but that's a whole political thing, which is not the point.
No.
The point is that the technology is there, the funding is probably not there, probably not going to be there. I don't think it'll happen.
I think the San Francisco to LA
The interesting part is this system, unlike Japan's high-speed rail, which uses super cool magnets, it uses super cool magnets, so they are super conductive for their high-speed rail. This one uses passive magnets to float the train. So it doesn't require, the track itself does not require any power. And therefore, you vacuum the tube, which is, they have the technology from the Hyperloop group owns, is one of its main investors is a Swedish vacuum company, right? So vacuum out the tubes so there's no air resistance, you float the train on magnets, and the power necessary to run at these speeds is extremely small, which is where the technology becomes cost effective. Because unlike trains with fuel and all that madness, this technology is extremely, extremely energy efficient. And that would be the only reason I could ever see it succeed.
Yeah,
it is interesting, and I did not know it existed until you linked that to me. But having read it, and read different articles on it, it is a very cool tech that, like I said, it's time to me. All of these stories, we've had the technology to do all this sort of weird sci-fi stuff for a long time, but people never put their foot down.
Well, even not even sci-fi. To me, it's crazy to think that the Amtrak system that we have, that truthfully probably doesn't cover a lot of the country, is all we have for any kind of train transportation system.
Yeah, it's...
Where in like Europe, you would never have to do anything but take the train and can see anything you want to see. Most major cities, definitely any country, you know what I mean? It's like, and Japan's the same way. Major cities, they're going to be giant train hubs, all high-speed rail. The idea that I don't think there are any high-speed rail, definitely not like that in the U.S. at all, and it's just
They
It's
talked
surprising.
about it for a while, doing one from DC to Miami, I
heard
think.
that, and then Chicago and St. Louis was a big talk.
And it never happened,
Never happened.
and it never probably will happen.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if they ever do, but
Like I said, that's the interesting part about this, though, is they're doing it all
crowdsourcing
it, which would be the only way the Silver Miners would work.
Yep. And that's the reason we think Slovakia will get it first, is they're crowdsourcing. Well, the government of Slovakia jumped in.
And let's put the money out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it'll happen. Maybe, maybe not. But
So-
either way, interesting. Now, done with the interesting stuff.
The
moving
tech
on
side.
to media.
Now, we know Marvel has been destroying Netflix shows, just knocking them out of the park. Daredevil,
Excellent stuff. Now,
Jessica Jones, they're doing Iron Fist, they're doing Luke Cage.
just finished the second half of Daredevil, by the way. So good.
Yeah. So they make an announcement that they're going to do a Punisher series. That was not long after season 2 of Daredevil came out. Then this week they come out and make what announcement?
They're possibly going to expand that into a bunch more obscure Marvel heroes. Now,
Starting with 3.
We were already getting pretty obscure. When you're getting into Luke Cage, you're getting into Iron Fist.
Those are kinda off the
not.
beaten path.
Daredevil's not even that popular of a superhero, but he's at least on the top shelf.
Only reason people knew about him truthfully is the Ben Affleck movie that nobody liked.
Yeah. But point being, they've gone off the beaten path, picking up Jessica Jones, picking up these, and they have done an excellent job with them.
Very
Some
good.
of the best TV I've seen in a while.
Yep.
Probably since like the first season of The Walking Dead.
So then they name these 3 that are the preliminary 3.
Now they're going farther off the beaten path with Moon Knight.
Moon Knight is probably as deep cut as they can get.
That's real.
That's deep. It's pretty deep cut.
Moon Knight, Blade. Who's the third one?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Now, Blade had a good 2 out of 3 movies, maybe. At least the original movie was good.
It was.
It was the first Marvel cinematic movie, not in the universe, but it was a cinematic movie. First rated R comic book movie too. People forget about that. The first one wasn't bad. They made 3 of them. Ghost Rider, the first one was meh. It's Nick Cage, and you kind of get what you get with him. Made a second one, and I don't remember if I ever saw all of it.
I think you probably were better off not seeing all of it.
But I think it could be very interesting to see them do a Netflix series with Ghost Rider. Will they go Wesley Snipes Blade?
I don't know.
That might be terrifying if they did. Truthfully, Moon Knight would be the one I'd be looking forward to the most.
I'm kind of a Blade fan.
I don't mind Blade, but they can definitely do some things that could be very, very strange with that. If they go Wesley Snipes, that I don't know. Blade would be my number 2. Looking forward to it, but Ghost Rider is definitely the bottom of the barrel, and they could do it to where it's scary and it's very cool. They could. I hope that's the way they would go. Because as gritty as all the TV shows have been, which you would agree, all the Netflix series are pretty dark and gritty, I would hope that they just put it all out there and try to make it as terrifying as possible. I don't know if they will, but yeah, it's interesting. Like, kind of, what do you think about the fact that they're expanding? I mean, I agree. We're both kind of on board. Would you agree? They haven't really faltered any of
Netflix
these
is
yet.
pushing out a lot of good content.
Yeah, and Marvel's right there at the forefront.
But the interesting thing about the Netflix stuff is, and I read this article on was it Wall Street Journal? I don't remember. It was linked somewhere. But the point is that Netflix is spending all this money to create original content. Orange is the New Black, Incredible Kimmy Schmidt, all of these, all this Marvel stuff, all these other series. Some of them will flop, some of them haven't flopped. some of them are
Cincy.
great. Sensei. Again, but the thing they brought up is the sole purpose of Netflix is to gain subscribers. And do these shows really translate to new subscribers at the end of the day?
I think I would not doubt when Daredevil first came out, they didn't. I would be surprised if they did not gain subscribers that just wanted to watch Daredevil. Now, who knows? And
it's hard to say what the cost benefit is.
but I also got to say, I'm betting they weigh that. I mean, it's not like they don't know the numbers.
Oh yeah, that's the point though. But it wouldn't be the first time someone has made a poor business decision.
Well, I agree, but I mean,
But
who knows?
Regardless,
Yeah.
the point is Netflix is coming out with a bunch of new shows. All the superhero stuff. New show Altered Carbon, starring what's his name? Dude who was a RoboCop.
Yep, I can't think of his name. I see his face. Joel McKinnon. No. Joel Kinnaman. He's also in Suicide Squad.
Yes. New Cyberpunk series, which I'm excited about, because there's not a lot of good sci-fi out
He says that because what was the Wyatt Earp one that you should have?
Oh Jesus Christ! Don't even talk to me about that show.
He goes, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Whatever the name was. What was the name of it?
Winona Earp.
Winona Earp. I'm really looking forward to this Winona Earp sci-fi series. I see him like last week. He goes, I watched the first episode of Winona Earp. So I'm not gonna watch any more episodes of Winona Earp.
It was so bad.
I expected it to be bad, but I expected it to be sort of bad good. No, it was bad.
He also expected the other guys to be bad. The movie that we just reviewed, The Nice Guys. Go watch that review. So overall, we're both looking forward to what they're expanding to at Netflix. And what do you guys think? Do you subscribe to Netflix? Are you? I mean,
Should.
I agree.
Put out a study. Watching Netflix over the course of what did they say? Will save you 6 days a year in commercials. I believe was the number.
6 days. I don't watch enough TV for that I don't DVR and fast forward. But I agree. And what? The only thing anymore I DVR and fast forward? Flash and Arrow.
I haven't watched any of them in like 10 episodes.
So that means you just got a lot to do. I got a bunch of Arrows. I think I'm behind 2 Flash episodes and
I'm
like
behind so
half
far.
the Arrow season.
Yeah,
And I just gave up on
half
watching Legends Tomorrow. I have 13 of them recorded and deleted all of them. Like I'm never getting to this. But
I'll probably get to it at some point, but it'll be bad.
at least you get to watch the Atom and Captain Cold and Heatwave, because those guys are what make that show fun.
Mm-hmm.
But so, what do you guys think of any of this? Of the cybernetic eyes and Google patenting the lens technology, Hyperloop? Do you think it'll ever happen in the U.S.? Do you think it'll ever happen? Period. That speed, that kind of tech, is got to be kind of sketchy. And what do you think of the Marvel expansion on Netflix? You know, if you have any input, let us know. If you've read any news stories that you want us to kind of look up more and talk about, put it in the comments below. You know, like and subscribe. Share this if you want to. We'd appreciate it. And until next time.
Thanks for staying till after the credits.